Welcome to Network Marketing Success Stories. My name's Nicolette Moore, postpartum depression and PTSD survivor, wife, mom of 3, and online network marketer. Each interview, we bring you inspirational stories of ordinary people changing their lives, creating vision for their futures, and fulfilling that vision with network marketing. Turning what seems impossible to do into real-life network marketing success stories. What fuels their fires? What keeps them pushing toward greatness? What are they doing that you can too? We investigate these questions and learn exactly what is setting them up for success in network marketing. Join us so you too can tap into your potential, uncover your greatness, and create your own network marketing success story. Hey, this is Nicolette Moore from NicoletteMoore.com, and today I have Kim Ward with us, who, believe it or not, has been in network marketing since she was 8 years old. Yes, it's true, and we're going to find out more about that in a little bit. She managed, up until recently, up until this May of 2016, she managed a Fortune 500 clinical lab. But she was able to retire herself, and now she's solely on living off of network marketing and all the hustling that she's doing currently. And she initially was interested in, pursuing this life because she wanted time and financial freedom. So Kim, I'd love for you to come out and just kind of share a little bit more. First of all, we need to find out exactly about how you started network marketing at 8.
Hey, Nicolette. I'm so excited too. Thanks so much for having me today. You initially asked me kind of what age I started network marketing, and my answer was 8 years old. There was no hesitation. Immediately, what comes to mind is earlier than Girl Scouts, we had brownies back then, and I don't even know if that's still in existence, but girl, I used to hustle those Girl Scout cookie sales to make sure that I was the top leader in my troop. I wanted my badge. And I would kind of be that like the pep rally cheerleader to get my troop to get to that higher sales. We wanted to be the best in the division. So my heart has always been in an entrepreneurial spiritship. So I would say yes, definitely since 8, since the brownie sales. And moving on after that, our school fundraisers. Back then we used to go door to door. And I would always make sure that I would shoot for that very top prize, at the top of that pyramid. And I would stop at nothing. And I did really, really well. I managed my own money. I had my little envelope. And just moving throughout school, it continued on with cheerleading fundraisers. And then when I was 18, I joined different network marketing companies. So, yeah, it's been great.
Wow. That's really impressive, and that just goes to show, I truly believe, I'm a personal believer that we're all meant to be entrepreneurial. I think that most people are born with that spirit, but it's like you just had that ability to tap into that at a very young age, and you recognize it. Because I'm sure there's so many Girl Scouts out there, that hadn't really thought about it that way. So that's a very cool insight. I love that you shared that. I love that you put that. That totally caught me off guard. And so, you went to school, you got your bachelor's, did you get a master's as well?
I didn't go for my master's. I kind of really felt like at that point in time, to get any really good job and leading into a career, a bachelor's was where it was at the time. So I did go for my associates first, got my associates, and then my bachelor's degree. With a dual degree and the education and experience that I had at that time, it was more than sufficient.
Yeah, so you went to university, you got all that, you went pro, you went and were managing a lab. So what was it in your heart? What made you continue to believe in network marketing as an answer?
I really knew something had to give. I became, I'm going to say, a professional at the age of 18. I started in the medical field, and just being the type A and the leader that I am, I developed very, very quickly. I became the youngest supervisor ever for my company at the age of 25. And within 2 years of that, I was promoted to become a clinical lab manager. So I had responsibility of 4 different states. So not only did I have to know the business acumen and the business rules and regulations, but I also had to know all the different state laws, compliance, all the state regulations as well. So there was a lot of knowledge, education, and experience that had to take place. But what comes with that is responsibility. So if I had employees, which I had 64 of them at the time, that's young to have that many employees and that much responsibility, if you ask me, looking back. But I had 28 different locations between those 4 states, and I had to travel. I would be up in Bangor, Maine, which was 4 hours one way from my house. So the only way to effectively do my job was to get a hotel, stay overnight, which meant time away from my family. I had young kids. My husband was home. I missed a lot being on the road. My director at the time was in New York. Even though that's not a part of New England, she would make us managers travel to her. And we'd be in there for managers meeting in New York City for 3 or 4 days at a time. So, I had to really learn how to ride the subway, how to survive in New York City. And, I became that corporate person. And I forgot, because I was gone so much, that I had babies at home that needed me at their baseball games, that needed me at the dinner table. And I would literally be so burnt out and so tired by the time I got home that I would rush through dinner. I would do everything I could to rush through bath time. I'd look for excuses of why I couldn't read storybooks at bedtime. And I would do everything in my power to just get them to bed so I could either have me time or I could get myself to bed. And I just said, this something's not working. It's not working.
Wow. I mean, your story's touching, I mean, how many moms are out there doing that? How many families are torn apart because of corporate America, just the demand on their schedule, taking them, far from home, or just the demands of the hourly, just going in early, staying late. It's so important, family time, making that priority, and think about, the kids and how that makes them feel. And so like you don't want that for them. You want to be there with them. You want to let them know how much that you love them and adore them. But it's hard whenever you're physically exhausted and mentally exhausted.
Yes. And I want to just touch on that real quick if I can. I'm sure you talk to a lot of moms who are in the employee mindset. I just want to flip that script for a moment as the managerial mindset. As the person who has no choice but to follow the protocol and the standard operating procedures that we had. If you're a mom who's not traveling, maybe you are working a 9 to 5, but your counterpart called out. As a manager, we have to fill in all the slots of that. So maybe your little one had something special that night and your boss comes to you and says, hey, you really have to stay tonight. I need you to work, or you have to work Saturday. If you're not traveling, the sad part about it is there's still overtime. There's still weekends. There's still demands that keep you away from, being that wife and that mom that you want to be. And unfortunately, I had to stick to the protocols. And sometimes they're so strict that you have no choice but to take corrective action with an employee. At the time I was in the snow environment. So if somebody would call me and say, hey, I'm running a little bit late because, traffic's slow, the snow is bad. If it was an occurrence where that tardiness was going to get them in a position that they were written up, you had to take that authority. And it's a really hard situation. So being the employee and being the manager, it's just not easy, whatever side of the fence you're on.
With all this experience, you've definitely been able to stand up and be a leader in the network marketing industry. Your company, your team, you're able to pull from that experience and really, pour into the team that you're building up. And I've heard through the grapevine that you've had outrageous amounts of success recently. And I'd like you to maybe share with us over the past year what that's looked like, because the beginning of this year you were still working, but you've been able to leave the job. So can you walk us through 2016 and kind of what this year has been like for you?
Oh man, absolutely. What a defining year for me as an individual. So I was still working. I had, my career going on, and I figured out through really technology and through certain automation processes that allowed me to still work and still kind of promote my business. I'll be completely honest with you. At the very beginning of my, leading into 2016, I'll say. I was a very spammy person, like to the point where I would just post ads on social media. And I knew that my products were the best. I knew that what I had to offer was the best because that's why I stand behind it. And I just kind of expected that everyone was just going to believe what Kim had to say and the success would just fall in my lap. That was such a ridiculous mindset. So when it wasn't working, when things weren't going my way, and I realized I'm still working and I'm working this business because I want the time freedom. I want to change lives. I'm very passionate about what I do. Something had to change. So leading into 2016, my company, my primary business, was having an annual conference. And without discussing it with my husband, who, by the way, he's a firefighter. So he's gone for 24 to 48 hours at a time. So when he's gone, not only am I mom, but I'm also dad. And, you know, being a homeowner, there's things that need maintenance and help. So I'm really juggling a lot. We have 3 kids, 2 teenagers and a little girl who's soon to be 2 years old. So it's busy, you know, it's really busy. And I thought my mindset is shifted to the point where I know for a fact there's something better out there. I'm seeing the success around me. I've got to jump and I just don't know what that means yet. So I have 3 credit cards. And like I said, without discussing it with my husband, collaboratively, I joined all 3 credit card balances and I booked a family vacation to Texas to my annual conference. And I made a decision. I'm there and I'm leaving there as a changed person and I'm going to do it. Thankfully, unlike most people, I have a very, very supportive spouse. He's been behind me 100% of the way. He's actually the one that helped me quit my 9 to 5 and become a full-time mompreneur. And we did. We traveled to Texas. And the good thing about that was my family got to see what mom does when she's on the phone or on the computer. And it was really eye-opening for them. And it gave me a sense of like, okay, now they can see that this is real. It is something that you can touch and see and feel. Mom's just not on her phone all the time or on the computer, you know, in bed when everyone else is watching TV. No, I'm really trying to impact the world and make a difference. So my husband looked at me and he said, at that moment, we don't sacrifice enough as a family. And I said, excuse me? So that night, the first night we had gone back to the hotel room, he grabbed his smartphone and opened up his app for our bank account. And he showed me how much really overspending we truly do as a family. And we had a family meeting that night and we said, you know what, guys, when we go home, we're going to buckle down like never before. There's not going to be all this out to eat. There's not going to be all this, you know, special TV programs and this, that, and the other thing. And everybody was truly on board. And that doesn't happen for a lot of people. So we came home, not just me as a changed person, but us as a changed family. And we did. We fired our cable company. We started to collaboratively as a family literally unplug every single electrical device that wasn't in use. The boys understood the importance of turning the AC off or down or making adjustments in the house with lights and electricity prior to going to school if you're not in a room. So we made some serious changes as a family. I learned how to do extreme couponing to save money for groceries and any other necessities. And together, we saved a ton of money so I could quit my job and pour my whole heart into this industry. And nothing has been more rewarding other than having my babies and getting married. But we are at a point where I have had tremendous success because I don't have the stress and the overwhelm at this point of juggling everything. And as a natural leader, as that old manager mentality, I'm able to pour my learnings, my teachings, my heart and soul into my team as well. So it's really made a huge impact on not only me and my progress, but my team together.
So Kim, what would you say could be something that you could pinpoint as being one of the most challenging issues that you've had to overcome with progressing from, the career into network marketing?
It's very easy to feel like a failure. It's so easy to say, okay, actually, I did a live video about this just this morning, ironically. And, I've had people reach out to me and say, okay, I'm throwing in the towel. This is too hard. And that right there is why only 3% of network marketers really, and I don't want to say succeed, because success is a state of mind. And to me, success means something different than being a 6 to 9 figure earner. But there are reasons why people can do this and do it for a long time, if not ever. So I would say when you get to that point where you realize your paycheck is dependent on your performance and not something that you're going to see in your bank account every Friday, boy, does your mind change and shift drastically. The way that you interact with people changes. Your daily method of operation changes. So for me, realizing that I'm paid on a performance-based scale at this point means, okay, yes, Kim might not feel well today. Maybe the baby's sick today, but I still have to absolutely be consistent and stick to my daily method of operation, because if I don't work, I don't get paid. And I think it's a hard pill to swallow for some people, because it's easy to deter and get off track. We'll go for little daily vacations or little weekend mini vacations. And if I'm in the car as a passenger, my husband has to have the understanding that I have my phone in my hand. I'm still here. I'm still present with the family, but I still have to be absolutely consistent with my business. And I do. I have my calendar that tells me the basic and the bare minimum responsibilities that I have to do throughout the day before I can even go to sleep. And if I don't hit those goals, I do not lay my head down on my pillow to sleep.
Yeah, I think that it's so easy for us to go from a job where we know, we go in and we have a manager or we have a boss or we have a system that we just walk into, and they tell us, this is what you do every day. And you just say, yes, I comply. And you do. And, coming into this industry, like I love, the performance-based. It's performance-based. You have to perform. You have to take it upon yourself to be your own boss. Do your, set up what your game plan is for every day, and you have to walk that out, and you have to know how to walk that out, and you have to stay consistent. And so that is a transition for a lot of people. But I think if those that struggle with it and they feel like it's difficult, if they could just keep working at it and keep trying, it will become natural. But just like anything else that, is not something that we normally do, it just takes time to get used to. But if you believe in it enough, you can walk into that and you can have the success that you're looking for. So on the flip side of that, what has been the best thing? I mean, obviously you've been able to walk away from your 9 to 5. Now you get to spend more time with your family, but is there something that you could pinpoint as being the best result of your efforts in network marketing?
Oh my gosh. That's a huge question. And there's so many options that I could just, oh my God. I would say first and foremost, the fact that as a female, I lost my sister and my mom very tragically, very unexpectedly, and much too soon before their time. The fact that I'm able to be home as a mom with my teenage boys, with my baby girl, has been a blessing. And I mean that wholeheartedly. One of my biggest concerns was, the boys spent their childhood in daycare, basically someone else raising them. And when I had my daughter, my biggest thing was, no, I want to be home with her, because I want to be the one, that is responsible for her smiling. I don't want her reprimanded for doing something that's wrong just because she's learning. I don't want someone else raising her. So for me, definitely being able to be home with my daughter 24/7, being here when the kids get off the school bus, and with my husband being a firefighter, he leaves, when he goes to shift to the station, it's risky. So when he comes home and he's home before he has to return back again, I am here to spend time. So we can, go to the beach together. We can spend that quality time that really most people don't have. And it is really a blessing. And then secondly, I would absolutely say the impact that I have on other people's lives. My inbox is flooding with just thank yous. And thank you for being a blessing. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for being here. And it's like, I really feel like I have a fulfilled purpose, and like you said, when you're in the corporate industry, you're marching the march. You don't necessarily feel the gratification. This is a very, very gratifying industry. if done right.
That's beautiful. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's all about relationships, right? So now your relationship with your family is able to blossom and get stronger. Your children aren't going to feel like mama's neglecting them. Mama's gone again. Mama's away. So that's amazing. That's huge. That's your legacy that you're able to, show them. Mama's working hard for you, but mama gets to be with you. So that's huge. And then the relationships that we are able to build with other people, it's beautiful. It's just really, really beautiful, and what good it does for our hearts and our souls and for the world, because whenever our hearts and souls are full and we're pouring into others, they're able to therefore go and pour into others. So it's just a domino effect of beautiful love.
It's really true. I actually say to a lot of people, if everyone in the world felt as great as I do, there would be no such thing as war. I say it all the time.
Well, you'd like to believe that, right? I'd love to see with no war. So do you have a coach or a mentor in your network marketing industry or in your business? I'm sorry. Do you have a coach that is guiding you, or what's your support system look like?
I absolutely do. A firm belief that I have is no matter what level you're at, you need a coach or a mentor. I think it's imperative to your success and to your mindset, just to keep you on track and not deter, like I said earlier. One thing that I've done is I've joined kind of this educational platform, if you will, that is a community of like-minded people. And the great thing about that is in times of need, where you feel like giving up or you feel like you're not doing enough, you're not productive, you're not seeing the harvest to the seeds that you're planting, who do you turn to? Because from my experience, most people don't have supportive friends and family. So the fact that you have a group of individuals who are like-minded people, they're going to be the one to kind of re-spark the fire, to re-engage that passion and to let you know why you're on this. What's your divine purpose? And mindset is truly everything. And those are going to be the people who work with you and guide you. So I do have a coach. I love having just a kind of second set of eyes to look over me and say, hey, Kim, this is what you're doing great at. Because I think we all like recognition. We all like appreciation. But at the same time, I appreciate constructive criticism as well. And I'm never going to grow and improve if I don't have that. So yes, to answer your question, I think we all should.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I think that especially in this industry, but just anywhere, you always see coaching is a huge element for people's success, whether it's sports or business. People have coaches that help them and give them that extra pair of eyes that they are not able to, they can't see their mistakes. They can't see how far off they are at the track, but just having somebody to constantly put them back on that right path and to give them that guidance, that support, it's elemental. And I mean, it's just naturally built into the network marketing industry. You naturally have an upline, but that doesn't always mean that you have a coach. And so I think it's good to seek those things out if you're not getting the support that you need from your particular upline, just depending, because we all are human. And sometimes your upline is somebody who's just been in the industry for a few days. So it's good to look and find a coach, somebody who's got that experience and can help you get on the track that you need to go more quickly than you would on your own.
Absolutely.
So what is the best piece of advice you've ever received that has really just helped you stick through the tough times?
Oh, best piece of advice. Oh gosh. Actually, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday was one of my days where I just kind of felt like giving up. I was at a point where you can see the success. I mean, success leaves clues. There's no doubt. So if you follow me on social media, I'm very consistent with my personality, with my outlook, with my moods, with my success, because I'm a consistent person. There are still those times where you're like, I'm doing something wrong. Because I think as human beings, we're ingrained to believe we have to have a 9 to 5. That's the only way, that's the only how you're ever going to be successful and taken seriously. So I kind of had a breakdown moment, and I called my coach and I said, okay, I don't know anymore. And she's like, are you kidding me right now? You're one of the elite. You are an up and coming rock star. And she said, look at the top leaders, and she threw out some really, really big names who, one of them in particular recently had $100,000 day. And the very next day he said, I'm done. This isn't for me. I'm giving up. And she's like, this is why we have like-minded people. This is why we have mindset groups. This is why we have coaches. We all have to kind of throw out that life jacket to each other every now and then. And I thought, dang, she's right. She's right. We are each other's life support. And it kind of took me back and said, okay, it tugged at my heart, and I snapped out of it and met so many amazing people just since last night.
That's excellent. Yeah. I mean, they say it's always right around the corner, just keep going, keep pushing towards it. And one of my favorite, I've said this before, I'll probably say it 1,000 more times. One of my favorite cartoons is of the two guys that are digging towards the pile of diamonds,
Yes.
and then there's the one that's just like fed up and he's tired and he's just like walking away, and he was right there. It was right there.
Yep.
And so it's that you're already ahead of the game because you're consistent, right? And you're already ahead of the game because you already have this amazing posture. You have managerial experience. You know how to build a team. You know how to hustle. So you're so far ahead of the game, and you're able to not only work that for yourself, but you're also able to show other people how to do that, and be the leader that so many people need. And so I think that there's also, like, you get to a point where you almost have a responsibility to stick it out. You have a responsibility to the people that are looking up to you,
I agree.
And so that's something that I've thought whenever I have those moments where I feel like I want to walk away. I think, well, what about the people that are looking up to me, that are counting on me to lead them? I can't say no. I can't walk away for them, So I think that if you can't do it for yourself, do it for them.
Yep. That's so true. That's a great way to look at it.
So if you had to start all over, I know you've been going at it since you were 8.
That's a long time. I'm experienced.
But if you had to start all over today, knowing everything that you know now, what would you do differently?
Oh my gosh, everything. When I first became serious about network marketing, I really thought quantity over quality. I thought quantity meant quality, in all honesty. So I would blast everything, all of my knowledge and ads and graphics everywhere, all over social media. I would tell anyone who's listening to immediately halt the brakes, stop and slow down. And I'd look at myself and I'd probably slap myself across the head and go, listen, you know better than that. Being in a relationship industry, it is quality over quantity. So the content that you're putting out there, I would take my time and make sure that it's good quality content, that I am, providing value to the people who are looking for me and looking up to me, instead of just leading by the wrong example, which I was doing very much so in the beginning.
I love that, providing quality. And that's something, the people that are looking for you, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that quality content. What can Kim do to really help me? What is she telling me? And so I think that you're not any different than most people. I think we all do that. We get online and we're just like, yeah. We vomit our business opportunity, our products, whatever. But at the end of the day, somebody wants to know what you can feed them, emotionally, and then what you can give them in value, And so whenever we can start realizing that we have this knowledge that we can pour into people that can really help so many people, it's amazing what that can do. It can really be transformative. So if anyone out there came to you, Kim, and said, hey, I'm interested in joining network marketing, I'm kind of thinking about it, I've never done it before, what would you tell them to think about, or what advice would you give them to let them know if that is a good move for them or not?
You absolutely have to know there's so many companies out there. I mean, really so many companies. What tugs at your heart? Because anyone can sign up to sell makeup. Anyone can sign up to sell any product. Why are you going to stand behind your opportunity? If the passion isn't there, that burning desire is going to fizzle out very quickly, and you're going to end up either burnt out or just quitting. So really, really do your research and make sure you're in it for the right reasons and that your whole heart is behind it. If it's not something that changes lives, and starting with your own, it's not for you.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice. I think more research being done on the companies that you're getting behind and knowing why you're getting behind them is definitely key and important, because you go to a meeting and it sounds all nice and fine, but there is an element of needing to know what you're signing up for, who you're signing up with, what this means for your future, and if it's something that you'd really like to talk to people about. So that's great. So Kim, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this interview. You're so awesome. If there is anything that you'd like somebody to take away from your story, what would it be?
Really live every single day with a whole heart. Just know that whatever it is that you're behind, whatever it is that I'm behind, there's a lot of passion that's fueling it, and really just do everything wholeheartedly, because that's what I do day in and day out. And that's never going to change. My train is just starting to pick up that forward momentum. So you're going to see a lot more from me. And, I hope in retrospect, I can party on everyone's party bus and help in their success.
Awesome. Well, I expect to see you. I expect to see you rising pretty quickly here. So if anyone wants to find you, Kim, where would they find you? What's the best place for them to find you online?
Oh, come over and see me at successwithkimward.com.
Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate your time. I'm very grateful for you taking the time out of your day. I know you're busy. I know you're a busy mama with a busy hustling career you got to take care of. So appreciate the time. You're awesome.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Have an awesome day.
You too. Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
NicoletteMoore.com. Yeah. Look. You know she got you. Yeah, when it comes to the lead, she gon' lead you straight to the lead generation. It's what it is all about. Recruiting all the prospects, yeah, that's what a shot. She help you with the coaching. You know that she give you the posting, so you could go and move it through the ocean. Cause she there for you. She really cares. She wanna help you grow. That's why she there. So if you wanna get more, you wanna see this what's in store, NicoletteMoore.com. Get it, y'all.